This project is an inspiration from Peter Field's Spatial Communication in Level Design. So, as you can see, I've used yellow paint to direct the player, the sort of instructions of what they have to do, but I won't have to do this um, in my proper levels. I would just use it to guide them. I've also used light, so as you can see the sun, to sort of like signal to the player, this is where you need to be, this is where the end is. I'll probably use like a pause screen or a menu screen for like controls to show how the player that's meant to be done. So as you can see, like the yellow paint, it's just instructing the player, but I will just in future just use it to guide them. So as you can see here, as we're approaching the door, you can see that there's a table and a chair that's obstructed the door ahead of this one and like a room. This is showed how there's a room inside to the player, but you can't physically access it, so the player is like staying focused on the main objective and not bothering with that door at all. Now the next point I wanted to make here is how this lets the player imagine that there are more rooms like throughout the building. So this banister go down, down, down like the elevators as well. But I've stopped the player from accessing there because I don't want to model that area and I just want them to, again, stay focused on the main goal. This is an example. I could have put rooms throughout there, but I just needed to get on along with things. But obviously, again, future sort of reference there. Here, I wanted to introduce like checkpoints. So basically, I would like make full damage. So as you can see, it's like they've got to jump to this like ventilator shaft thing. But obviously, if they miss the fall, I'm going to implement full damage. So they'll have to like respawn it. But just for the purpose of this, I just made it like an just quick thing. Oh, and diving boards. I wanted to mention diving boards. I used geometry just to show how you can like it can be used to sort of guide the player that they need to make a jump to like another platform. So like that and so the player has just made that jump and I've just pressed an R here just to show you how, let's say I died there, I respawn, and here is an example of a one-way valve. Just means that the player cannot go back to the previous part of the level and is forced to carry on. So as we approach down here, I've sort of used the lighting to show the player, oh look, there's multiple entrances, there's like things to look at, attract the player's eye, and there's the illusion of choice that the player can like sort of go through. Like there's room ahead of you, there's a room to the left, and as you'll see in a bit, there's a room in the back, just to sort of show how you can sort of like almost trick the player into thinking there's more. Here I just want to show how I've used furniture. I should really be doing this everywhere, but I've just done this room as a quick example. You can use furniture like within, I don't know, the sort of, was it block out, just to show that there should be stuff here for like future reference of the building of the level to signal that, this is what it can look like kind of thing, or, you know. So as I come up here, I see there's again the yellow door that I go through, and here I introduce pinch points. Well, Field did, but yeah, pinch points. So this is just to remind the player of the finish line, and yeah, just sort of, what am I saying? Yeah, just to remind them of the finish line. Where they need to go. Yeah. So as you can see up here, I have blocked the player's destination and they are forced to take an alternate route because they can't physically open the door and, well, there's, nothing there for them at the moment. You can, like, introduce, like, a path ahead to show sort of, like, the player that like make it even more clearer to the player that there's a way ahead, and I haven't done it here, but you can do that, block them off and show the path ahead even though you can't actually get to, like physically get to it. So the player's forced to drop down here, and um, basically they're forced to search for, which I've put a key into my project here, so you can, like, you can't go through there because I tried it earlier. um, and yeah, we found the key. It was hidden under the bin, and now we can use this door. And here I want to introduce sort of not a great example, but shortcuts. This is a shortcut into, like, I guess the field and the courtyard and the building we were just in. Yeah. And now with the key we can go to the door that was previously locked. Well, I mean, it still is locked, but and there we are. Okay, so we'll just, yeah, look around, why not? And then we'll drop down here. This is another example of a one-way valve, and quick checkpoint. Here I wanted to well, just let the player get lost. This is my idea of letting the player get lost. There's a weak mist around the field, and the player's like sort of forced to explore and not really know the direction in which they're meant to go. So I've placed like random things here, place random things just for them to sort of look at. It's just an example. You could put whatever. You could put like narrative here. There's great places, all kinds of possibilities you could do with, you put like enemy attacks. You could put, really unexpected stuff kind of thing. So with this here, it's like another thing that the player can go into. But this is the way ahead, but the player isn't going to know that until they've actually like properly went through it. Because there's no like yellow paint. It's a bit obvious, but I could make it obviously less obvious with future projects. I do plan on doing so, but great example of that. Here I wanted to sort of introduce that the player, there's a long walk ahead of the player, and it's sort of supposed to build suspense to them, like knowing that, like, because it's a long passageway, you can't really see the end, and the player is just got to walk through it and find out what's next. Here there's like multiple sort of passageways. You can see there's like a little bit on the right and a bit in the staircase if you go a little bit down, just to sort of introduce how the player can, get to the same destination, taking multiple sort of ways around it. I can obviously introduce that more into future projects. So here's an example of another one-way valve, and as the player sort of nears this warehouse, you're going to see sort of another illusion of choice kind of structure. So obviously I haven't put anything in these rooms, but the fact that you've got to sort of venture beyond them to find out if there is anything in them is just is what makes it so interesting to the player, because they might want to see what's ahead. So here is sort of like, I wanted to make like as you saw, there was like a room through the window. This is like an indirect passage to other rooms. It's sort of like not immediately obvious to the player how to get in here, and they have to sort of figure it out. So this is now the end of the level, and I just wanted to say how the player, once they've reached the end, they can sort of see over the whole world level and see how far they've come. And yeah, thanks for watching. This is my project, Peter Field as an inspiration, spatial communication and level design. Thank you.